It was really interesting what you said about James as a kind of hollow man. Let me ask you, though, from the outside, he looks like a mover and shaker, an aristocrat of pull, to use that term, and what we today would call a crony capitalist, making his money by connections in Washington. But at the same time, he has a lot of appeals to the common good, helping everybody, equality, fairness, and stuff. Does James believe that stuff? I mean,
does he believe in helping the quality, helping the common man?
Yeah, the gloss and all of that that he puts on his behavior.
I don't think James necessarily creates anything, and that includes his own thoughts. I think he has to be told what to think, and it really matters whose sphere of influence he happens to be in at the moment. When Wesley is giving the orders, it's yes, Wesley, I will mouth this. And when he's working with Dagny, I think has a sense of brotherly shame and also abdication of the family business. She really is running it. He knows that, even though he presents it, and there's got to be a sense of shame that he has that he's not doing anything. And she knows that. And when he's in his own workplace, they all know it too. Right. So it really is hollow leadership in his own bed, basically, where he spends most of his day in his office. And the only place he gets to really feel like his plumage is working is when he's out with Wesley and the rest of the guys and doing that sort of thing. And so to be able to mouth this idea of the common good, he's just aping stuff, I think, ultimately. Because I don't know if he knows what he believes.
Does he resent Dagny? Is it
absolutely
not just shame, resentment too?
Sure. I mean, there's such anger and vitriol because she has what he cannot have. He's the great destroyer, right? I mean, especially in the latter part of the novel, in the third act, of course. It's that whole thing of, if I can't create it, I'll just as soon kill it and destroy it.
Right.
Which is really, I think he has a moment of awareness that allows himself to see the lack of depth that he really has.
Right. And does any of that carry over to Cheryl, or what's going on with her?
She's so cute and innocent, and it's great. And I could just see how he realizes he'll never have the Dagny level woman, because he wouldn't know how to intellectually engage with her. He wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around her. And with Cheryl, it's somebody that he feels he can help rescue, but of course he also has contempt for her because she's so beneath him. So he reaches his hand to sort of pull her from her station, and then immediately punishes her for being from the station that he rescued her from, which leads, of course, only to her destruction and his destruction with her.
Right. Not a nice guy when you...
Well, but I don't think an unsympathetic guy, though. I think many people identify with him because he says things that people start to go like, oh, I agree with that. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. But you don't think it through. You don't think through, Directive 10289 exactly. It sounds like, oh, wait, you got to put on the brakes. And the way it's sold to him and the way he sells it down is the idea of this will help everybody. And doesn't it make sense that we all should help out? And, but if you think it the whole way through, of course, which is what the novel ends up being about. But he doesn't think it through, and most people don't.
Right, but hopefully, or I think part of the intent may have been, you watch James and you have to think it through because you see the whole picture there.
Yeah. Well, he's the journey that a lot of people take on it, because I don't think people necessarily identify them. I think their hopes and dreams is that that they are like Dagny, but I think the reality of the fact is that they probably operate more like James. Which is not to say that people are evil. That much.
Well, thank you, James. Sorry. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Red.